Hello and welcome to Everything's Fine, probably the podcast that's like antidepressants for the news cycle. I'm Jim, I'm here with Shelley and Stuart, and together we'll be ignoring the apocalypse long enough to find the good bits. Or at least some bits that aren't, completely awful. This week, we're talking monkeys, conkers, carbon, boyfriends and bins.
Ooh.
So buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. Shelley and Stu, how are you two?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. I'm so excited about the weekend.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
rightly.
So
Yeah.
are you trailing the weekend here? I think you should take over there, Jim. What are we doing this weekend?
What are we doing this weekend? We are meeting up, the three of us, in Twickenham, and we are going to watch Harlequins play Saracens at the Stoop, which is now a sellout. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, you ain't going. We'll be joining the Stomp to the Stoop with our fellow Harlequins fans. We'll probably have a couple of drinks.
We will. But more exciting news than that, we're actually going to do some on the road live filming and recording, aren't we?
We are going to give it a go at creating an episode documenting our day as part of a sporting community, having covered all the benefits of this earlier. I mean, it will probably be unusable, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah, I was about to say there might not be a show, but we might try.
The next week it'll either be that or it'll be something else. There'll be a show. I'm just not quite sure what it's going to be until I start trying to stitch it all together.
So
My
make
voice-
sure you listen next week.
Who knows what you might get?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on tight,
Yeah.
Grandma.
My voice gets quite shrill when I've had a few beers.
Does it?
So I'll be like, "Hi, I'm Shelley, and
Okay,
Actually,
right.
is
Might
that
be
kind
able
of
to
how I normally sound?
put that through a filter maybe and edit it out, possibly.
I'll just leave it.
Just leave that in, shall we?
Yeah, it's fine. People won't mind.
Yeah. So that's good. That's happening Sunday. So all good. Yeah. So looking forward to tonight's show. Sounds very varied, doesn't it?
It is very varied. And before we get into all those wonderful stories, just want to talk about this very exciting week that we've had, because no sooner has the state of Palestine been getting recognised more frequently than certain well-known Americans in the Epstein files. They're straight in and ratifying the High Seas Treaty.
Oh, tremendous.
Ratifications have now shot up to 75. We're only just over 100 days at the time of recording for it becoming international law. But whilst Palestine, who I think we can probably all agree have got a few other pressing issues on their plate.
There's a few distractions, aren't there?
They've still made the effort.
They've had the time to do it.
Yeah.
The UK government, however, still dragging its heels. I mean, what the hell's the hold up? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Negotiating with the jelly babies count as marine protected species. They're commissioning a report to commission another report. Are they organising listening sessions in coastal villages? And possibly not, but when parties that signed 2 years ago is still dithering, it's not lack of awareness, is it? It's lack of will.
And also, maybe this is all part of this not really wanting to do anything on the environmental front, because there does seem to be this pause now and a push to roll back some of these environmental measures.
Yeah, it's absolutely to appeal to the extreme right.
Yes.
And voters. I mean, the UK government have acknowledged the issue and they have pledged to introduce legislation by the end of the year to enable ratification. But you know what, pledges are like umbrellas in this country, aren't they? And they're nice to have, often forgotten, and rarely very helpful when storms arrive. The fact is, this kind of bureaucratic foot dragging, it's exactly the sort of thing that erodes people's faith, isn't it? You see treaty after treaty, you hear promise after promise, you hear nothing, and it gets very easy to believe that our politicians stand for nothing that won't get a cheap soundbite on the cover of the Daily Mail. Well, let's move on to the main chunk of the show then. And we're going to start by paying tribute to one of the greats who we lost last week.
Yeah, Jane Goodall. And I feel a bit bad because I have to admit, like, she sort of went off my radar. And then suddenly when I saw that she had died, oh yeah, her, like I remember seeing her in documentaries and all of the amazing stuff that she used to do. And it all just suddenly came flooding back. For anyone who didn't know, Jane Goodall was a pioneering primatologist and anthropologist. She did pass away last week on the 1st of October. She was 91 though. So she didn't owe us anything. But
Was
also,
she in Big Brother all those years ago?
I don't know, was she?
Oh no, it's Jane Goody, wasn't it?
Jade Goody.
Jade Goody.
Jade Goody, the
Oh
celebrity.
yes. Oh yes. So no, so not her then.
Yeah,
Not her.
it's just that like they've got the same initials there, the
Oh, I see.
similarity.
Yeah, I mean, neither name is actually the same, but they're both close.
Yeah,
Okay, so not on Big Brother. Anyway, okay.
when she died, though, she was in LA, so she was still working. She was on a speaking tour, which she has spent the last few years of her career doing, just traveling the world and speaking. And she died in her sleep. She was still doing what she loved and still
What did
working.
she love?
Well, obviously primatology, but she was made famous for helping us to discover the whole world of apes and chimpanzees and had made groundbreaking discoveries really about them. She started to work in the 1960s when she didn't have any scientific training at that point. She just went and set up a camp in Tanzania's Gumbe National Park and just started observing and documenting the behavior of chimpanzees. Before she did that, she nobody had actually gone into their habitat to study them.
I think the first person to observe chimpanzees making and using tools.
Yes, I was going to mention. So she was the first person to observe actually a lot of things about their behavior that we didn't know. That was where she noticed a lot of the similarities to some human behavior. So they did things like playing, laughing, tickling, things like that with each other. There was also a lot of aggression as well that she observed. So, there was definitely fights within the packs for like domineerance. She also discovered that they weren't vegetarian. Everyone sort of thinks they just sort of eat bananas and things. It's like, no, that wasn't true. They actually would eat insects. There was actually a little bit of cannibalism when things turned nasty. But that was when she observed that, because at that point that it was believed that only humans were tool makers. Nobody else made tools. But she watched them. They would eat termites. So that was also when she discovered they eat insects, and they were using branches and peeling back branches to make them into sticks to dig through termite mounds. So yeah, that was pretty amazing stuff, really. She was
Is that what they used to pick out of each other's hair and then eat?
I think that they were probably fleas and
Fleas.
things.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, like other parasite brands are available.
What is a termite? I don't know what that is, do you?
They're like those things that sort of they eat through wood, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they do.
Yeah, I think anteaters like eating them as well.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
Right. I
like
got you.
obviously
Yeah.
apart from just eating ants, I think they like termites as well. So she took such a different approach though, but she actually gave the animals sort of personalities and kind of opened up the world to the thought idea that animals deserve their own rights and
Yeah,
should
I'm
be
sure she was the
protected.
first researcher to give the animals names.
Yes, yeah,
Tradition
she
to give
was.
them
She got,
numbers, but she
yeah,
gave them names
she
instead.
was
What was it? A bit
criticized.
like the ones in the PG Tips adverts when they used to have the trousers on, and they were called like Frank, join a cup of tea, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, she actually discovered them and they created PG Tips.
Did they?
And it was their
What work?
business. Yeah.
She worked with them to create the PG tips, or they
No,
observed them
no,
doing
she
it?
found them like that. They were already like that.
Are they
Yeah.
already there
Yeah.
making
Yeah,
PG tips?
yeah.
They go, oh, Frank, I'm going to get this old piano up the stairs.
Well, that's something I didn't
You
know.
can't beat a cup of tea. I mean, that said, they were treated very badly, those monkeys. I think recently they dug up the bodies and it looked as though they weren't treated very well. They weren't good putting those trousers on them. They didn't like it.
I
at
don't
all.
think she would have approved of that, to be
No, I
honest,
don't think she would.
because she was a conservationist as well.
Well, I like it. Apparently, she was mentored by Louis Leakey, the famous paleontologist, and he said he hired her because she didn't have a science degree. He liked the fact
Yeah,
she
but
hadn't yet learned what was impossible.
she did end up with still getting a PhD from Cambridge, though. So
Mhm.
in the end, she ended up ridiculously qualified.
I think she ended up there, but that's not how she started.
No, it isn't. She made these observations before she had any scientific qualifications. And it was a very male dominated area. So there would have probably been a lot of men talking over her, trying to control the narrative. And they would have, they did criticize her for naming them. Doing what she did, it also encouraged lots of young women into the area. And when she passed away, there was a lot of good tributes to her, including from David Attenborough, because of course, why wouldn't he? Prince William. But I found a really nice one that I thought really summed her up. So this was actually from the Jane Goodall Institute. Dr. Jane Goodall, founder of the Jane Goodall Institute and UN Messenger of Peace, was a remarkable example of courage and conviction, working tirelessly throughout her life to raise awareness about threats to wildlife, promote conservation, and inspire a more harmonious, sustainable relationship between people, animals, and the natural world.
But just sad. I think it's amazing. I mean, Jane Goodall spent her life proving we're not so different from primates, and then you read comments on Facebook posts and you think, yeah, she was right.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them probably were better at putting their trousers on and making a cup of tea.
Well, they were certainly better at keeping their trousers on than Greg Wallace.
Yeah.
Right, folks, after Jane Goodall, let's get our hands dirty because now we are going to talk about the Peckham Conker Championships. It's a proper grown-up world where people whack nuts on strings in South London. It's gloriously bonkers. Stu, tell us all.
Well, I saw this article in The Guardian, and the headline is Nutty Fun at Peckham's Conker Championships.
My favourite kind of fun.
Yeah. So, that got my attention. So the South London upstart takes itself far less seriously than the World Championships, but is not risk-free. So they sent a journalist, Guardian, Sammy Gascoigne, to go along. So he had to sort of sign up. He saw a sign when he got there, and the sign said, "You won't die, but you might lose an eye." So he was like, "Well, okay, this sounds dramatic." So less than an hour later, in the midst of a chestnut-ridden battlefield, he understood why. He went on his editor's instructions. Sammy headed down to the Peckham Conker Championships in South London's boozy-packed alleyway. It was a windy day, but it didn't deter the punters. And there was a novice there called Navid Akram who declared, "I'm here to crack some nuts. I want to show I'm the conquering beast." Veteran Arno Bryant, he was there, and he's famous in the conker world because he decorates his chestnuts with googly eyes, and he lamented this year it's been very, very fallow.
So can I just stop you for one moment?
You can, Jim. Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's famous in the conker world.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
was thinking that.
Yeah, that is a conker thing.
There's a conker world.
Yeah, there is a conker world. So you've got
It's the worst theme park in the country, but it's there, it exists.
So
It wasn't meant conquer the world.
Yeah, so you've got the main championships, the world championships, but this is more of a urban version. So it's set in an alleyway, and what they like to do is embrace the chaos. So I think they're going after that sort of whole urban vibe, skateboarding, that kind of thing.
I mean, I did have a little look into this. It looks like the World Championships, they have rules that you're not allowed to do. In this one, you can do whatever the hell you like, can't you?
Absolutely. It's freestyle. It's urban. But that said, in the World Conker Championships this year, controversy struck. I don't know if you saw this recently, Well, the legend in the Conker world, King Conker.
Oh yeah, King Kong.
Yeah, you've heard of King
Oh yeah,
Conker.
yeah.
That's it.
Conquer
Yeah.
World.
Well, David Jackins, right? He was accused of this, but thankfully later cleared of cheating in this year's championships because he was caught with a steel chestnut. He had a steel chestnut on him, made out of steel. But the thing is, when they looked back at the rounds, he hadn't actually used the steel chestnut in any of the rounds. It was on him, but he didn't use it. So, a little bit controversial there.
A little bit like Bill Clinton with his marijuana thing. If you,
Yeah,
I didn't inhale.
yeah.
They didn't have any rules though, did they?
No, this was in the proper World Championships.
There's rules on there.
Oh,
So
Don't mess around in that one.
I did actually look on the BBC News website, and there was a brief interview with him. He's 82, King Conker, and he was very
He's old enough to know better.
well. He was very upset. He said I didn't cheat. I just had it on me. I'm actually really quite upset that this allegation has been made.
Did he say why he had it on him?
He didn't say why he had it on him.
I mean, it
He
does sort of
should have said it
suggest
was
he
for
might
luck.
be planning to use it.
Well, he didn't. He was cleared, so nothing to see here.
Fair enough.
Now, the thing about the Peckham event, it actively encourages rule breaking. So one competitor noted, we just enjoy people who take their hobbies too far. And this is a classic example of it.
I
which
like
is
to
a-
think you could have like a conker made of anything at the Peckham Championship. Like,
Yeah, I think you
my
can.
conker is made of a whole car or something like that.
Yeah.
As well, at what point does a conker stop being a conker?
Yeah, well, absolutely, when it's a steel one. So Sammy Gascoigne, he joined a team, and everyone has to have a nickname. So they gave him a nickname of Stonker, which he quite liked. So the goal in the preliminary battles was to crack an opponent's conker in a 5-minute duel. The eventual winner would take home a 24-carat conker. Sammy then goes on to say his debut was clumsy. My first swing missed massively and nearly knocked me out, but I was awarded a pity point for barely grazing my foe's nut. After shortening my shoelace, however, I started to roll, landing a hit that caused damage. This led to the game's brutal second phase, the tussle. This is when conkers get tangled. Competitors must fight for the lace, pulling with force to win the point. So chestnuts flew from all directions. Realising the inherent danger, last year's victor, Pietro the Pummeler, he chipped a tooth, and on an on-stage tussle, he bowed out. He left the final, and so did Sammy, and they left it to the experts. The Pummeler's 2-year winning streak was finally broken this year when Timmy Nuts was crowned this year's champion.
Can I ask what your conker battle name would be?
I think I'd be Shiny Nut.
I think I'd be, ooh, lovely pair of conkers.
Oh, that's quite long though, isn't it? What about you, Jen?
I think I'd be the big bald conker.
Big bald conker. Yeah. So maybe next year, perhaps we can do another outside broadcast and go live to the Peckham Conker Championships. Who knows? We might even enter.
Well, it's not saying we did. I mean, this is all going to sound a little bit trivial after the Peckham Conker Championships, but I actually found some good news about climate change. So, new analysis shows that since the Paris Agreement in 2015, the growth of global emissions has slowed right down. So, before Paris, emissions were going up at around 1.7% a year. Since Paris, 0.32% a year.
Is this the world or?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 5 times slower now. So in a nutshell, the world has gone from...
Oh, I see what you did there. In a
sprinting.
nutshell. Very good. Yeah.
So we've gone from sprinting towards the cliff edge to doing a leisurely jog, meaning we've got a bit more time to admire the view before we go.
That's really good, isn't it?
Well, I mean, look, it is. We've got to bear in mind this is still year-on-year growth, but it is reduced growth. If you look at CO2 specifically, then it's even more striking. In the decade before Paris, carbon emissions shot up by nearly 18%. Since Paris, it's slowed down to just 1.17%.
Brilliant.
So it's basically like a platter.
Yeah.
Planetary equivalent of piling on weight over Christmas and then managing to stay the same size and pretending that's a win.
I'm doing my bit of environment. I'm trying not to breathe so much, so I'm holding my breath, because every time you exhale, you let out CO2. So I'm doing my bit, taking my plastic bags to the supermarket as well. So, maybe all that is contributing to this reduction.
But what
Wait.
about the emissions coming from the ambulance that has to come and pick you up off the floor?
Well, no, I don't do it to a dangerous level. I just,
Just enough so that you might have a stroke.
well, no, I'll just do it, just if I'm watching TV, scrolling through the phone, just think, hold my breath for a bit, Imagine if we all did that, 8 billion of us. Just think how much CO2 we would stop.
My brain needs all the help it can get.
Maybe after this we'll have competition, see who can hold the breath the longest. I'd be up for that, would you? That sounds like some kind of thing you do on the internet, doesn't it? That sounds like some kind of dangerous kind of cult, doesn't it?
Hang on just a minute. Jim, were you talking about something a moment ago? I'm not really sure.
No, it's not all equal. The EU's been quietly getting on with cutting emissions faster since Paris. World's responsible adult. The US has been reducing too, despite being led by a man who thinks wind turbines give you cancer. I actually thinks is probably too strong a word. Let's go for fantasizes. But the headlines are all about China. And right back when we started the podcast, we have spoken a bit about the good work China has been doing. Pre-Paris, their emissions were charging up about 8% a year. Now it's under 2%, and this year their emissions actually dropped by 2.1% compared with the year before. So the signs are they've peaked. That's huge, because when China sneezes, the rest of us end up coughing in Mandarin. There's also the investment story. Since 2016, more global money's gone into clean energy than into fossil fuels. China, of all places, is now exporting enough clean tech that it could help knock another 1% off global CO2 emissions each year outside its borders. Imagine explaining that to your climate denying uncle at Christmas. Yes, Uncle Nigel, the foreigners might actually be saving the planet while you've been hanging flags from lampposts and shouting at hotels. Of course, it's not all rosy.
Well, it's good so far. That sounds very encouraging.
I was feeling quite
yeah, I was feeling quite positive there. I thought we were going to do it.
Are still well off track for their Paris promises. Now, I'm sure there are climate deniers who will have a field day with this, saying, oh, look, emissions aren't growing as fast. Obviously, it's all fine now. Well, no. That's like arguing your house isn't on fire because the flames are spreading slightly more slowly. Or maybe they'll insist that scientists are making it up because thousands of researchers across dozens of countries are secretly in on a global plot. But they also think that the same people can't organise a piss up in a brewery. Kind of logic that would have David Icke nodding along and going, yeah, fair point. I just feel like, if people are going to have two utterly stupid opinions, they probably shouldn't contradict each other. But there we go. The big takeaway in all this isn't just the stats, it's what it does for your head. Because climate doom is everywhere. We're seeing it. Heat waves, floods, and the stories about things collapsing. It's overwhelming. But this report proves that global action can change the trend. Not enough yet, but the direction of travel's shifted. So if you have been lying awake at 3 a.m. doom scrolling, wondering if you should buy a canoe or move to the Pennines, just take this as a rare bit of relief. Collective action does work. The world hasn't given up. And let's be honest, that's probably the most shocking piece of news of all.
And I can maybe take a few more breaths.
Well, if you want to, Stuart, don't feel you have to. Now, whilst emissions growth is slowing, what happens if countries keep dragging their feet? Well, the world's top court just delivered a surprise. It ruled that a healthy environment is actually a human right. And that raises the stakes. So, Stuart, you're up. Tell us about this game changer and how it might shape governments out of their inertia.
So this week, the International Court of Justice has delivered a landmark, it's only advisory opinion, ruling that the right to a clean, healthy and sustainable environment is a fundamental human right. I mean, no shit. The fact that we all want to live in a clean environment and breathe healthy air and have clean water, the fact that we don't think it's a human right, we've kind of come a long way off that path, haven't we?
Well, it is a shame we need a court to remind us what a toddler already knows, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
that
but
means
this,
you have a right to breathe.
for sure. So this decision carries massive legal weight, warning that governments failing to aggressively tackle climate change may be violating international law. I mean, that's a good thing, but it's then whether countries subscribe to the law and decide whether to keep within that law. But
it just gives them another thing to not do properly, doesn't it?
yeah. So this is a seismic win and has been welcomed as a powerful new tool for the environmental justice teams. The ICJ stated that countries have stringent obligations to pursue ambitious emission cuts that align with the Paris Agreement, as Jim was just talking about. Crucially, the court emphasised that states' failure to take appropriate action to protect the climate can constitute an internationally wrongful act. Okay. The case was spearheaded by the small island nation of Vanuatu and drew submissions from over 100 countries, making it the largest case in the court's history. Small island states, which face existential threats from rising sea levels, argued the ruling was necessary to establish clear accountability for a crisis they did not cause. So although the opinion is advisory, it's symbolic and legal influence is profound. It's expected to strengthen thousands of future climate lawsuits worldwide against governments and fossil fuel companies. So another bit of good news to bolt on your story there.
Absolutely. I mean, it is advisory, a bit like your dentist telling you to floss more. It's good advice, whether you do it or not. Yeah.
I remember when I was at school in the 90s, they started doing quite a lot because that was when they sort of discovered about like all the CFC gases and things. And in school, they would make us do environmental campaign posters, and everybody would always draw a picture of the Earth crying.
Yeah.
It's either that or polar bears looking sad, isn't it?
But the good thing about that was we fixed it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We fixed it. It was on John Craven's news rounds. We had a big hole, didn't we, in the ozone layer. Everyone stopped buying fridges and using so much CFCs. And then it closed. So we did that one. So there's no reason, collective action. We can't do this one. Maybe we need to start drawing more pictures of the Earth crying.
Yeah,
So,
I think it would be a worthy campaign to bring back.
Well, you could be like the Greta Thunberg of Hampshire, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can like design your own tote bags and things, can't you? I might make a whole range of tote bags with like the Earth crying on it.
Well, I think we should just throw it out to listeners, draw a lovely picture of the Earth crying, stick it on our socials. And the best one, you know what? Maybe we'll stick it on a tote bag for you. You are up next to tell us about performative boyfriends. So when you're ready, rock it.
What's a performative boyfriend?
Well, you're going to find out.
Well, the term is actually performative men, and it's been like quite a TikTok craze, really.
Is this a bad thing against men?
Well, this is a matter of opinion. It's not really a bad thing against men.
I think it says something weird about the way we relate with them.
Yeah, I mean, this is very new to me. I hadn't heard of this until I saw about this in the news, and I thought, what is this? Performative men.
Do I have to do anything now?
You just have to listen.
Oh, okay.
You might find this interesting.
Okay,
as long as
it's not a new thing I've got to take on board.
Just at least try and just take a little bit on board and do what you will with it. Okay,
right. I'll try.
This only came to my attention because there was this contest in London for the best performative man. To set the scene, in a London park, it was absolutely packed. It was full of young women cheering for a group of men. But there was also a few women who took part in the contest who drew beards and moustaches on, which I thought was pretty funny. To identify a performative man, you are looking for them they're quite young men. They'll be wearing baggy clothing, maybe pinky rings, drinking matcha lattes, and carrying tote bags. Not one of our tote bags, though. They would love our tote bags. But the tote bag with a labubu hanging from it. They will tend to adopt certain items to display their cultural sensitivity, such as
Can I just ask, Shelley,
yeah.
what is a labubu? I don't know what that is.
A labubu is like a little kind of plushy keyring type thing that all the kids are completely crazy about. I suppose it'd be like our equivalent of trolls. They cost a fortune because they're kind of like
trolls but bigger, and their whole body is furry. And yeah, they cost about 18-19 quid.
Okay.
And
Right.
lots of influencers are holding them and carrying them around. So my niece, I think she has a few now. So yeah, Labubus would have otherwise passed me by.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so they will adopt certain items though to display their cultural sensitivity, such as feminist literature. And they might even have a stash of sanitary towels on them in case one of their female companions gets caught out. So they are the emotionally intelligent, anti-toxic, anti-alpha male, an antidote to the Andrew Tate following men who spend their weekends putting up flags and painting mini roundabouts. We really are making a dig at them this episode,
Yeah.
aren't we?
Isn't this performative man just the extreme at the other end?
This is what's up for debate, really. They have drawn some criticism from some women or even from some men as well, saying that they're kind of deliberately planting green flags to kind of lure women in, but it might not actually be genuine. Oh, I can't, are you now thinking, oh, I wish I'd thought of that?
Well, it sounded like this very sort of progressive movement. And then underneath, it's just basically your typical male trait in order to attract women.
Yeah, well, I think there's just this sort of been this worry, like, these men could still draw you in. Like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really sensitive. I will,
yeah,
I will care for you. I'll never hurt you. And then
yeah,
they finally get to sleep with you, and
yeah,
then they still ghost you the next day.
yeah. Do you want to have a look at my labubu? And
Yeah,
here's a sanitary towel.
we look.
Good night, Charlie. Yeah.
But
I'd quite like, I don't know, to just be sitting there and have 10 men come and propose to me every week. I'd just keep things fresh, wouldn't it?
I mean,
there's something pretty weird about how we relate in the modern era, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is there any sincerity left, do we think? Or is everything, literally
Yeah.
everything performative at this point?
What does that actually mean, performative?
Well, that's why they've
Oh,
ended up. It's a performance. It's not
so
real.
it's not even real then? They don't even believe this?
I don't really know. I think with the way they had this contest though, it was like everyone who was at the contest, it was very silly. And all the men who took part seemed to be very much in on the joke. It was silly. They were doing things like serenading this crowd of women with ukuleles and their acoustic guitars and throwing like flowers and sanitary pads at them. And all the women, they're all like screaming, pick me, pick me. It's really silly that it's all just a big joke. And so I wouldn't say any of the men that are probably willing to do something like that and laugh at themselves, I don't know if they would really strike me as such a threat.
Or do you think they're woke sexual predators?
I can't imagine in theory that there's anything wrong with men who make an effort to think about what women like and what makes women feel safe.
Yeah, didn't we have that in the 90s a bit? The New Man, was that came around, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, we had that sort of your David Beckham. What they call that, metrosexual. Remember all that?
Oh yeah,
yeah, in his skirt.
Yeah, sort of man bun and looking after the kids. So I think we've been here before, haven't we? For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, this is really more just a look. It's just fashion. A lot of it is, but I think I would just say it's just like with everything, isn't it? When you go out in the world of dating, people put on a little bit of a front anyway, don't they?
Well, we all
But
do
then
that, don't
also,
we?
I would just say you just got to make sure that the green flags aren't hiding a load of red flags. This whole thing, though, I mean, it just looked like a load of fun, and it was a lot of young people actually not taking it too seriously. And
so whereabouts was this in London? In Shoreditch, was it?
I don't. I actually don't know. I don't know what it was. And also the other thing is that I couldn't find out. I couldn't find the name of the guy who won
Yeah.
on like Metro News. I could see the
Yeah.
video of the guy who
Yeah.
won. He looked like a very sweet boy, and I say that because I'm old enough to be his mother. So he
Yeah.
was a sweet boy. I'm sure I would have adored him in
Yeah.
a different way if I was 20 years younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a little.
I was 20 years younger.
Yeah, I was 20
You'd be in
years
trouble, my
Yeah.
boy.
Oh, I would have climbed him like a tree.
Well,
Whereas now you're like, oh, young man.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that he's wrapped up warm enough and he's had enough to eat.
Yeah. So would you say this is like the progression of the hipster then?
Yeah, I mean, I
Mm.
just think men being sensitive. Yeah, don't overdo it. You don't have to make a big display because I'm a feminist, but I don't read feminist literature or walk around with feminist books. I just want to be
Or
treated equally. You know,
don't
it's
you
not
think
like
that'd be a bit creepy though? Like you're out on a date and some man says, "Oh, you look a bit pasty. Would you like a sanitary towel?" You'd be like,
I would not ever
how,
ask a man if they had a
yeah.
tampon on them.
How would you even introduce that to the conversation?
Well, I
Yeah.
suppose what you just do is quietly pop it on the table between you. It's kind of, it's there if you want it.
Yeah.
So weird.
No
Yeah.
strings attached.
You know what? You're acting like a bit of a bitch.
That'd be so creepy, wouldn't it?
I think you might need a
Just gonna-
sanitary towel.
There's no strings attached.
Well, there is.
London might be flooded with performative men, but elsewhere a quieter breed of man is making waves, or more gentle ripples, really. Because while the Perth boys are posting reels of rooftop brunches, these lads are comparing manhole covers and getting misty-eyed about roundabouts. This is the world of the Dull Men's Club. Their motto is celebrating the ordinary, which as far as I can tell is basically just admitting you're boring, but really owning it. And it really works. They've got 1.7 million members online. That's more than follow Ed Sheeran's account on Instagram. Take Dave Clark, better known as Dustbin Dave. So he was wandering through a wildlife park one day. There were leopards, otters, gibbons swinging around. And what catches his eye? A bin. But not just any bin. This bin was done up like a fab ice lolly. Bright pink, chocolate top, sprinkles. And he literally said out loud, "That is a decent bin."
It's just
And from that moment on, right, he started photographing bins, thousands of them. Do you know what he calls his hobby?
Binology?
His Binterest.
Oh, Pinterest, of course. Yeah, for sure.
In recognition of his effort, in 2022, the Dull Men's Club crowned him Anorak of the Year. Imagine that award ceremony. Other people get Oscars. Dave gets a medal just for noticing at municipal waste disposal units. And I reckon he's probably happier.
Yeah. Did you know Jeremy Corbyn takes keen interest in manhole covers?
Yeah.
He photographs them, goes around the country, looking at all the different serial numbers.
A prime example of a dull man.
Mm.
Because as you say, it's not just bins. This Facebook group is full of posts about water absorbency of concrete slabs, collections of lost hairbands, photos of dashboard mileage when it hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and clouds that look a bit like duck.
Yeah. Are you thinking about this hairbands thing, Shelley? That sounds creepy, doesn't it? Collecting hairbands, used hairbands.
yeah, no, that's weird.
That does seem a bit
Yeah,
odd.
that's
What I love is this. Every photo has a comedy banana next to it for scale. Now, you might think that a comedy banana is an odd unit of measure, but let's not forget that in 2022, the Daily Mail reported that an asteroid half the size of a giraffe had struck the Earth just off the coast of Iceland. And what troubles me about this particularly is that the giraffe is easily the most disproportionate animal if you separate the top and the bottom half.
Yeah, they should have gone for
Yeah.
elephant because that's quite square,
disproportionate as
isn't
a
it?
giraffe.
Which half would you use?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
have any idea
Yeah.
how big this bloody asteroid is. It makes a comedy banana seem quite sensible, is what I'm saying. So the co-founder of the club, Leyland Carson, He says a dullster is someone who enjoys mowing the lawn, washing the car, or painting the fence. So basically, people whose idea of an extreme sport is using gloss paint without opening the window, or putting forks in the spoon section. It's the natural home of anyone who's ever taken a picture of a roundabout and thought, that is a tidy traffic island. But you know what? I sort of get it. In a world where everyone is busy pretending their life's amazing on Instagram, I think it's comforting, maybe even quite necessary, to know there's a place where people can just say, look at that bench. That's a nice bench.
Nice bench.
No rows, no politics, no whatabouts. Just grown-up adults going, here's a pork pie. Nice crust work.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's something in that mental health-wise too, because you don't always need skydives and retreats to Bali. Sometimes you just got to find some joy in the small stuff. Nice cup of tea, well-designed hand dryer, a really tidy bin. I'd also like at this point to point out how inclusive the Dull Men's Club is, because last year's Anorak of the Year and current holder of the title is a woman, Emma Gardner, who won the award for taming social media. So she's proved that being a bit dull isn't just the provision of men in another blow to the patriarchy. Tommy Robinson must be livid. So here's to Emma, to Dustbin Dave, and to dull men and women everywhere. Proof that sometimes the secret of happiness is tasting thrills.
So what does Emma enjoy?
It's not what she enjoys. She won her award for taming the internet. So basically what Emma does, she works for the Dull Men's Club. She looks after their social media, and anything that gets a little bit naughty in there, she just gets rid of it. Actually, cheeky nonsense.
Neutralises things.
But have you got any dull hobbies, Shelley?
Yeah, I probably have in a way. I'm not actually very good at sticking to hobbies, really. I start things. I've got like half a crocheted cat basket that I've had for over a year now.
Okay, so a bit of crochet. That's pretty dull.
You know, I was thinking about, like how people have like memorial benches. I would quite like one when I die, but I want one to be put somewhere that I didn't like, with people I didn't like, and it says Shelley hated this place on the little plaque.
Wow, that's quite dark, isn't it? That's sort of it's a bit of a dark wish, isn't it?
Hated this place and hated all of you.
Yeah. I sometimes like to have a nice stare at the wall of an evening. I don't know if you ever do that, do you? Just sit there, stare at the wall. Before I know it, half an hour's gone, and I've just enjoyed that. Just let my mind wander. So you should try it.
That's like meditating, though, isn't it?
Oh, just get a fixed point on the wall. Sometimes I'm at work. I can't wait till I get home. I'm gonna have a nice stare when I get home. Feel loads better. What about you, Jim?
Well,
got any dull men's hobbies?
I just like to sit down with a nice cup of tea.
Yeah, can't beat it, can you?
Love it. Nice cup of tea.
Yeah.
Happy as Larry.
Biscuit with that.
I mean, sometimes it's not compulsory, but yeah, nice little slice of cake.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Do you dunk biscuits?
I mean, I don't mind biscuits. It depends on the biscuit.
It's dangerous dunking them because you eat twice as many. If you dunk biscuits, you will eat about half.
How are rich teas still around? Are they popular? They're awful. They don't taste of anything.
I don't have biscuits in the house because I just eat them all in one sitting because I've got no control.
And that's about it for this week's Everything Fine, probably the podcast equivalent of finding a fiver in an old pair of jeans. If you made it this far, congratulations. You've successfully survived another 40-something minutes of this bin-based banter and other nonsense. Okay, the world isn't fixed, but it's not beyond repair either. And if you squint a bit, things are looking slightly less apocalyptic, which for me at any rate counts as a win. If you enjoyed the episode, or even if you didn't, but you're too British to say so, please like, please share, please subscribe, tell a friend who needs a small dose of hope with their cynicism. You can also follow us on all the socials. We'll be posting some different stuff over the next few days as we all meet up in Twickenham. If you're going to be there and you can work out who we are, come and say hello. Me and Stu will be the ones handing sanitary towels out to everyone we see. We'd love to hear your good news too, the smaller and after the better. So drop us a message or tag us, and yeah, who knows, you might even end up on next week's show. Until then, keep calm, stay kind, and remember, everything's fine, probably.